What's up, Sherpa Network? Thank you for tuning in today. My name is Jonathan Tenenbaum, a.k.a. JT, a.k.a. Jay On, a.k.a. Sherpa Winfrey, and I'm the host and producer of DomainSherpa, where all roads lead to domains. Today's show is a Sherpa Short. This is where we usually pick a domain name topic or a domain article, and me and the squad will dig in and talk about it. Today, we actually have the MediaOptions team on here, and since we're kicking off 2025, like we said on the last show, all the way live in 2025, we're going to have the group do a little State of the Union, talk about what we saw in 2024, what was interesting, surprising, wins, challenges, trends, all that good stuff, and then what we're excited about, what we expect to see going into 2025, and what we're getting ready to deal with and all that good stuff. It's exciting times, also crazy times. Really quick, just to take a quick moment, with thoughts, prayers, all that stuff. The situation in California with the wildfires, terrible, heartbreaking stuff. There are a lot of ways and opportunities to help those folks out. So if people have an opportunity to do that, I would say we're trying to do some of the same. And but obviously some difficult things. We're 2 weeks into the year and already dealing with some crazy stuff. So is what it is. But just know that we will keep it light like we try to do. But definitely thinking about what a lot of people are dealing with out there. That's pretty crazy stuff. So now with that, let me go ahead and introduce the squad. Over to my right, I got my boy Andrew Rosener, aka Morpheus, aka the Dirk Diggler of digital assets, aka Bob Lee Swagger, the sniper, aka Drew. Drew got what I need, aka every Rosener has its thorn, aka Graybeard, the domain pirate. Arg. What's up, my man? How you doing? Happy 2025. What's good?
You're a little Graybeard today, I'll tell you that. I'm great. Things are great. It's all good. Excited about kicking off 2025 here. It's off to a very good start. We've already got 8 figures in domain sales for 2025, so we are we're hitting the ground running fast.
Yeah.
And that's it.
When you come out from behind the curtain, not like you're hard to find, but anytime we can get, you're like literally the toughest person to get on the show. And so when we get you, we appreciate it. What's up, my man? I guess I didn't get the memo about the glasses, though.
Yeah,
so that's what I'm feeling.
protect our melanin or whatever it is.
Yeah.
That's it. Gotta protect the melanin.
Gotta protect the melanin.
What do you mean? So is that what it was? Melanin, something in the eye? I have these, but mine aren't as like, I got these joints. So
yeah, you gotta have the yellow ones.
You gotta get your weight up.
What's the deal with the yellow?
Get your lens tint up.
Yellow just basically block more blue light than the clear.
Okay, but these are blue blocking. These are gooders. I got these joints. These are specifically, they call them modern day snake oil because they're like, is it for real? Which is actually pretty
probably
funny.
A bad indication of the brands you bought.
Yeah, they're like leaning in. They're like, nah, this didn't really do anything. But now I feel like
it's not a scam if we tell them it's a scam up front.
Exactly. We're gonna lean in. Accounted for. Everybody's here. We're all rocking our shades. We're ready to roll into the new year. The future is so bright. And we have seen some success early. So, but let's, before we get into some of the 2025 stuff, let's talk a little bit about 2024. Because, we've mentioned this a few times in these last couple of shows because, obviously as we keep coming up on the end of the year and, and having different guests and talking about some of that kind of stuff. What do we expect to see, trends, this and that and the other? This is kind of sort of the culmination of that, a lot of those conversations and that dialogue. And this would be the last time we really do a 2024, 2025. So this is that show for that purpose. So let's talk. I mean, 2024 was a big year for MediaOptions. It was a big year for domaining. I mean, how does everybody feel? And let's start there. So, what's good?
All right. Okay.
Well, I was just say, I mean, AI was big, right? I mean, sold a lot of domains to AI, not necessarily .ai, right? But
No.
that's a big trend.
We did sell a few .ais, but
Yeah.
for the most part, it was big .coms.
Well, and they were priced accordingly. It was
Yes.
priced accordingly to how TLDs typically sell, to the budget, to why they're trying to buy the .ai versus the .com.
Exactly.
That was big. I talk about trends quite a bit, like the 3 trends of every trend, right? It's like First, there's category defining, right? That comes in, then it's brand, then it comes back to category defining. So I think we're past the category, we're past that first stage where it's, hey, direct, category defining / direct category names. And now it's into the brand stage. I would say the peaks of the business in a sense were a little bit more profound, right? So typically people take vacation in summer. So a lot more people taking vacation in summer. That part slowed down. I saw a lot of people just disengaging during the Christmas, New Year's, I think because Christmas is on a Wednesday and New Year's on a Wednesday. So like people took 2 weeks vacation. Yeah. So coming
it was a long, I mean, I enjoyed it, but it was a long, felt like a just dead space from like whatever it was, whatever that Sunday was, 20th, 21st, 20th, whatever it was. From that moment until like the 5th of January, 6th of January, it was just dead air. Like everybody was gone.
Well, I think they're getting it out of their system too. It's like, last week has been pretty traumatic.
A lot went down in 2024.
A lot went down in 2023. And you had the election in the United States, right? And you got elections in Europe, and so like, I think there was this like, at least what I saw, like people were kind of pulling back a little bit during the times to pull back, which is good because I think you come back energized for this year. We're already seeing engagements pick up significantly this year. When you come up, it's about building and scaling, and so that is the eternal trend. We saw that pretty profound acquisitions. Companies saying, "Hey, it's time for me to upgrade. I'm ready to do it." And then the other thing I would say is like there's more familiarity with domains and with the impact. I shouldn't say it's not like overarching, but the people that see it, there's more people seeing it. So that small percentage that still sees the impact grew because of familiarity with past companies they're with buying their domain, which I think is part of that reason we're seeing higher sales.
Well, so to that point, I think that's a good one because Drew mentioned this even on the TimFerriss interview, right, where he said like it's the second time founders, the third time founders, the guys who've been there before. They seem to have a really deep appreciation for domain names because they get it, they've been through it, right? We had a couple deals, that we did with some big founders, folks that people know. Who have been through this process more than once and obviously understand the real value of domains. Going up to some of the most successful, most wealthy people literally in the entire world, with a real appreciation for domains and the role that they play in these, in these businesses, these companies, these brands. Just in a lot of the calls that we have, there seems to be less education needed to tell people about the value of domain names, right? It seems like
I think that's right.
There's less shock to the
conversation.
There's less shock to the price.
100%. It's almost become common knowledge that if you want a premium, 4, 5, 6, 7 letter .com keyword domain name for your brand, for your company, you should expect to pay between $500,000 to, a couple of $1 million, depending on the word. Like it's pretty much common knowledge, unless it's a rookie founder who hasn't done this before and, they're just trying to hustle. But anybody with any street experience, basically, sure, there's pushback, sure, there's negotiation, like anything, but it's not shell shock the way it has been for the vast majority of my career.
Yeah.
I mean, 10 years ago, it was like, what's the price? And you'd almost have like a recoil, like an embarrassment to say, well, it's, it's $1 million, but it's $2.5 million, but, it's a great No, now you can say it with authority, you can say it confidently, and you can say it in a way that, look, if you don't want it, no problem. We're going to find somebody else that will. So it is a different conversation. So anyways, listen, I just want to take a quick victory lap. All right. So at the start of 2024, first off, I think it's insane. It was only a year ago. It was December something. It was mid-December, end of December. I think it was like December 20th. That TimFerriss published the interview that I did with him. So that was 1 year ago. That feels like it was 3 years ago, 4 years ago. So that's wild. And I think, not only just for me, I think that was a very big moment for the domain industry. I think that was probably the largest or highest profile exposure that the domain industry has ever gotten beyond a surface level. Oh, this domain name sold for some big name, and somebody paid a squatter. You know what I mean? Like we've never really had anything beyond surface level exposure in the mainstream. And I think that interview really got into the depths and some of the nuance of the domain industry and gave it a perspective that I think a story that hasn't been told. And I'm not just bloviating about this. This is feedback that we've gotten. The number of people that have come to us and said, wow, I never thought about domains that way. That was so enlightening to me. I can't even describe to you the number of people that have reached out to us, both with business to do, as well as just to comment that, hey, wow, this was a total shift in perspective in the way I thought about domains. Hey, wow, thank you so much. This caused me to go out and get the domain for my company. This caused me to go out and get, whatever. So I think that was a really important moment. And that was exactly 1 year ago. I am saying all of this not to pound my chest and tell you how great I am. I'm doing this for the benefit of all those domain investors that made bad choices or even thought about making bad choices and following that trend. .com is king. .com ain't going nowhere. Long live .com. That is where the money is, and that's where the money will be. And you want to be where the money is and where the money will be. Everything else is a flash in the pan. It's not the AI. AI is going to eat the world. AI is the most important. AI and Bitcoin are the two most important things to happen in our lifetimes. However, it doesn't mean I need a .bitcoin domain name to participate in Bitcoin. It doesn't mean I need a .ai domain name to participate in AI. Point and case. When Dharmesh, who is a notorious buyer of super premium domain names, the guy understands domain names probably better than any other end user out there, okay? He literally launched A.ai. He literally builds AI agents. Okay? We sold an agent.com for a lot of money because he understood that if you want to be a serious business, you need a .com. If you're anything but .com, you're not serious. Okay? I'll end it there. That's it. Like, literally, that's point in case. I don't need to even say more. Dharmesh said it himself by buying agent.com. Okay, now, that's the victory lap. Looking forward, I want to highlight one single thing, and then I'm going to turn over the mic to everybody else who wants to talk. But the one single thing, and I think that this, if you don't listen to anything else that gets said on this podcast, I personally believe this is the single most important thing to look out for in 2025 and beyond in the world of domain names. AI is going to change everything about the software world. AI is going to change everything about the way startups are built, the way startups are operated, the number of employees a startup needs, the way that startups get funded, how much money they need to build the business, the iterations of capital raising. It's all going to change with AI. And if we extrapolate out what that means, particularly as what does it mean for domain names, where we're going to get to is that you're going to need roughly 10% of the, warm bodies in your company. Maybe that's not tomorrow, but I would say it happens over the course of the next year or two. If you only need 10% of those warm bodies, and if developer skills becomes a commodity, and if anybody with any amount of resources and skills can basically build an equivalent piece of software, then there no longer is a moat around these various businesses, whether it's SaaS, whether it's a consumer product, it doesn't matter. Okay, maybe there's some variation and nuance in each of these industries, but for the most part, it's going to be much more difficult to build a moat around your business. And so what that means is that from a competitive standpoint, from a strategic standpoint of how do I compete in a market in which my product or service is a commodity, and anybody else, if I start making a margin, somebody else is going to come in and compete away my margin, because that's what happens in a free market, then the only way to distinguish yourself and create a competitive advantage is going to be your brand. And the only way to dominate on brand is with a .com domain name that is memorable, easy to spell, easy to communicate, and really resonates with people. Okay, I love the word resonate; it means so much. Anyways,
good one, good word.
These
I'm just your hype man right
really
now, man. I mean,
premium domain names, these premium .com domain names, are going to become more valuable than you can possibly imagine, in my opinion. Now, everything else I said up to that point, I don't think is an opinion. I think it's fact. But whether or not that's going to create massive, value in domains, anybody's guess. My guess is that it is going to do that. I think that we are going to see a parabolic rise in the value, not of all domain names. If you've got joeysbagofdonuts.com, don't expect the value of your domain name to go parabolic. Okay, it ain't going to happen. Okay, you're still waiting for the fat cop to show up and say, "Oh, this is going to be my retirement project." All right, that ain't where it's at. Where it's at is super ultra premium.com domain names, the things that are irreplaceable. The thing is not a commodity, because when everything else is commoditized, when the people are commoditized, when the skill sets are commoditized, when the information is commoditized, when the ability to code is commoditized, when all of that is a commodity, the only thing that's not is your brand. And the only way to dominate on your brand, as I said before, is a premium.com. It has to be easy to spell, easy to remember. It has to be something you feel is cool. It has to be something that people communicate to their friends and family. It has to be something you drive by on a billboard at 60 miles an hour and you remember it. The radio test is going to be more important than ever for a variety of reasons, because of verbal AI and because of a whole bunch of different reasons, confusion, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But I'm telling you that the only moat that is going to exist in startup land, in corporate land, in products and services, again, maybe it's not next week, but it's in the course of this next year. You're going to see this development. And I guarantee you, going beyond that, it's going to be all about brand.
That's
okay.
Well, first of all, you summed it up. I actually wrote that down as like commodity, and then like 2 seconds later, like you're commodity, because they will all look the same, right? I mean, like you gotta think, how many problems do we need solved in our life, right? Obviously, there's taxes and tax software, right? But like the problems are there. Like, this new technology is finding a new solution for them. I lost my train of thought now. I actually ask people when I talk to them about, well, let me get my train of thought. I completely lost it.
No, it's all good. But
I do have conversations like that with people.
Yeah, but reiterating the piece about, look, so much is going to be commoditized. The brand is really where the value is. And also, I think, again, this is some of the stuff we talked about offline about trends and things, is that there's so much noise out there, right? And what we're going to see, whether it's through AI search or just, web search in general or whatever it is to cut through the noise and the optionality, and to avoid being scammed and defrauded and all that kind of stuff. It's like, you're going to want to, it's a curation. It's going to be, funneling to the, sort of the providers, the platforms, the products, the services, the companies, and the brands that are truly legit. And those are ultimately going to be represented by the best domain names, because that's, with the cream rising to the top. And it's reflective of the fact that when you have a company that has their best-in-class.com premium domain name, that immediately instills trust and market leadership, thought leadership, and, and positioning. I mean, it's
Trust is the currency of the internet. It is trust. If you look around the internet and you say, "Oh, there's value over here, there's value over there," all of that value from a first principle, if you what is it called in math when you reduce a fraction?
You mean
all of the value on the internet is derived from trust.
Yeah,
it's all.
I know what you mean.
Trust is the currency of the internet, and domain names are the first point of contact. First impressions or lasting impressions. First point of contact with your consumer, with your investor, with that outbound email you're sending, with whatever it is. Your first point of contact today in business is with a domain name, whether it's your website or it's an email or it's a billboard, whatever it is. Your first point of contact is the domain name. And so that is where the value lies. That language has just translated to the digital world. Okay. COVID changed everything.
Yep.
It shifted people's mentality, or at least it began that change where they started to realize that their office is not, it's not your office. It's not your retail store. It's not. It's funny. We have this antique store. I was just thinking about this like 2 days ago. Right down the street on my way to my gym, I walked by this antique store, and I love going there. He'd always have these just funny little weird esoteric things, and I'd pop in there all the time, at least once, twice a week. Pop in, just check things out. I'm a collector. I like collecting weird stuff. So I pop in, and today, since maybe 6 months, the store's not even open. There's just a big sign in the window. It says there's a QR code and there's a domain name. And it says, if you are interested in any of our things, go to the online store or scan this QR code, download our app, and you can bid online in our daily auctions.
Wow.
The store is just there the store is now a storage. That's all it is.
Right.
This is on one of the main streets in Lisbon, one of the, probably a pretty expensive piece of retail storefront. And yet, they don't even open the store anymore because their business is online. Because instead of just addressing the market of local people like me that walk by the store, now they're addressing a global market. And so all the money that people used to spend to buy or lease or mortgage a big piece of commercial real estate, whether it's your warehouse, your office, your storefront, your retailer, it doesn't matter anymore. Or at least it doesn't matter as much as your domain name, because your audience, your biggest audience, is online.
I think that's where the industry, I say industry, but all the communication in the industry, right, needs to come to this message versus like, and I never liked it. Oh, it's a premium domain, because it doesn't resonate. But when you get into this message, because I hear it with people I talk to. I mean, I bring that up all the time. Hey, here's the trend with domains and why they're increasing in value. And by the way, your risk and reward, your risk is not the price you pay. The risk is the what you can sell this for. Quick sell, you sell to wholesale. So maybe you lose 40%, right? If you hold it, maybe you double your money. But the opportunity is this. And then I go back to the reason why the reason why there is an increase in the market and understanding domains is that this is the location that your customers interact with you. I mean, think about it.
Yep.
I use Adobe. I don't go to their storefront, right? I mean, I use all the different softwares we use. All I have is their site.
And do you care what their headquarters looks like?
No, I could care less. Yeah.
Do you care how big the land is around their headquarters? Or
no.
Like, does that influence your?
I want it to be easy, and I don't want to be spammed with
That's it.
And
That's
so I mean, cyber attacks, like owning the .com protects you from
I think when you talk about security, there's the two aspects, right? You've got one at the company level where if you don't own the .com domain, you're going to have email leakage, you're going to have all sorts of security holes and different kinds of things. And then the flip side is on the customer side, right? I mean, then you're opening yourself up to where your customers, people that want to use you and your services, not only are they going to have a harder time finding you, but then they potentially could be scammed by the fact that they think they're doing business with you. They're trying to send you emails. They're trying to contact you. They might be sending their own sensitive information to you because whatever the role is and whatever the business is, but it's not getting to you because there's somebody else has the domain. I mean, it creates an enormous security hole.
Well, I think back to that, the I forget what domain it was, but they were on a .xyz and they moved to the .com. Wasn't the best .com, but their email deliverability increased, i.e. their conversion increased.
Believe in that message. I'm not saying if you're not a Republican, no, I'm not a Republican. But if you're not for that message, you're anti-American. If you're not for that message, you're anti-capitalism. And if you're anti-business, anti-capitalism, and anti-America, you're a socialist at best. So what we're seeing on the ground, boots on the ground, is the CEOs of the world's largest companies, the founders of the hottest startups, the people that we speak to sell the world's most valuable domain names, the people that we speak to that hire us to go out and acquire some of the world's most valuable domain names for their companies. these are the people that really are holding the checkbooks of the world. And what we are seeing is that these people are elated with this new administration coming in because they know we're entering a pro-business environment where they can feel confident in investing in their business. They can feel confident in investing for the future. And so we are already seeing that unlock an enormous amount of investment into brand and domain names. I think if you lens and you look out broader, you're seeing a massive amount of incoming investment. You've seen, I can't remember the names of who, but different people that have come up and publicly stated that they're going to make Masasan, for example, $200 billion, publicly stating that they're going to make massive investments into America, into technology, into innovation, into the future of their businesses. This is pent-up demand that was being restrained by an anti-business environment. And now we're going to, whatever you believe, it doesn't matter. Put the politics aside. What's done is done. What we're entering into is a pro-business environment, and that is going to be good for domains. Here, full stop.
Whether it's a trend that you saw in 2024 that we haven't talked about that you think is interesting, or something that you're kind of excited or looking, expecting to see going into 2025, what do you got? What's on your mind?
It's tough to be like on with you guys specifically, because I'm with like the OGs, the best of the best here, and anytime that I want to get an edge in a word in edgewise, it's like everybody's already taken it, dissected it way better than me. So maybe next year I'll have a better chance. But that's one of the things I'm looking forward to in 2025, getting more of a edgewise in and figuring out how to jump in and interrupt. But I think one of the trends that we saw, and Drew and Chris both touched on it, was the whole .ai trend. And I think one of the things that's cool about what we do, and kind of sum it up what Drew is saying and what you were saying as well, with we're not just picking a team and rooting for it. Like, we have that knowledge on the back end, being brokers, helping people sell these domains. We get to see firsthand what sells, what doesn't sell, who's interested in selling, what they're interested in selling for. And, we're seeing a big trend that we saw this year towards from, summer to now, and then probably into the beginning of 2025 even more, is that a lot of these people who started their business on a .ai are now shifting over to the .com. And it's for all the reasons that we talked about. It's for the security, for their brand security, because what they have for sale is a commodity. What they are is a commodity. And in order to secure that, not only for emails, not only for anything else, for that security, they have to buy the .com. They're forced to, whether they want to or not. If they want to survive, they're going to buy the .com. So we're seeing that big trend, and I think it's definitely going to continue. And it's going to continue with with what Chris was saying, all these other, smaller TLDs popping up. They're just two steps behind .ai. They'll eventually get to the same spot where they're shifting over for the .com, and we're going to be there to help them get it.
Excellent. Yeah, but I know that was sort of a somewhere, at least that's
I don't remember the details. My interpretation of what actually went down was in listening to Dharmesh himself, not all the armchair quarterbacks, is I believe that he bought it for, I think, just slightly less than 15 million. And then I believe that he sold it to OpenAI in a deal that it was primarily stock.
Oh, that's
so. I think that I know that he was trying to get into the first round of investment into OpenAI. He wasn't able to get in, and I believe that he used Chat.com as his entree into getting equity in OpenAI. And so I believe that's how it went down. He doesn't need the money. So what he needs is the inside track to get the equity.
Yeah. Well, what I think is obviously super cool is that you've seen some of the, the biggest AI platforms all went and got their matching.com domain, including grok.com, including chat.com.
Just to highlight a little point, little wealth education point for all of our listeners. What that actually highlights, that transaction with Dharmesh and my interpretation of what may have gone down, what that highlights is everybody out there who's chasing money, that's a false god. What you want is assets. So money is just a ways to a means, because the money is a melting ice cube. All right. The money is all but worthless. The money is worth what it's worth in any given moment, what you can buy with it. That's it. It has no other value. In any given moment that you need the money to buy something, whatever amount of money is required to achieve that end's value of the money. The money has no value beyond that. You should never be chasing money. You should start with what it is you want and figure out how to make the amount of money you need to get that. Because money is only a ways to a means. And I swear to God, that sounds like bullshit. And I never believed it. And I chased money a lot of my life. But I can tell you that the money is a headache. Money is not something to be worshipped. Money is not something to be chased. Money is a ways to a means. And so what you're looking for is great assets. And so if you've got a great asset, don't trade it for money unless that money is going to help you get something else that's worth more to you. Money is a ways to a means. The goal is assets and health. And so that's where you should use money. That's the only thing money is good for, is first, cover your expenses. Second, get things you need. Third, invest in your health.
An option. That's it. But for real, we just appreciate the audience, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. We say it on every show. Without you, there is no us. That was also another thing this year. And credit to Billy too, because he does so much of the stuff for the Sherpa show. We saw pretty good jump in our audience size as far as listens and watches on the DomainSherpa show this year, which is a credit to just us.
Give us more feedback. I actually wish that we would get more feedback from the audience. I wish people would tell us, hey, look, well, I'd love for you to bring on so-and-so guest, or I'd love for you, hey, I know this guy, he's got a great domain, or he's got a great story, or he's got a great, introduce us. You know what I mean? Like,
hit us up.
We want to engage more with you, our audience. Give us feedback. Tell us what you like. Tell us what you don't like. Some people say, oh, I don't like it when you swear. Sorry, that's what you get. Some people said, JT talks too much and interrupts people. We try to fix that shit.
There's so much you can do.
But we want your feedback. We do take it to heart, and where we can implement it, we do, or we try. And I think we've got some, pretty, I don't want to overpromise that, but I think, we've got some good implementations and upgrades coming for DomainSherpa in 2025. And so, please engage with us. Let us know. Twitter is obviously the easiest place to do that. At DomainSherpa, at Andrew Rosener, at J, the number 10 in bomb. Chris, what are you? Zuiker _Chris?
I think that's it. Yeah.
And then you are Domain Prince. Is that you?
No, I'm at Matthew Zuiker.
At Matthew Zuiker. All right.
He's like, look, I'm professional up in here. I got my full name.
We off that. So anyways, very exciting times. 2025 coming at you fast.
Yeah, that's it. All the way live in 2025.
Peace out, y'all.